It's time again for Coach's Corner with Jay, featuring the Knowles head coach, Jay Sacosta, and our host, Jeff Stevens.
No matter what size you are, maybe it's time to transform your physique. For your convenience, Transforming Physiques is open all day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Thursday, Fridays till 7, and Saturday 9 to 3. Take advantage of free weights and heavy-duty workout equipment. For expert advice, call trainer Jay Abel to schedule one-on-one fitness training. Aerobic classes will be starting in September. Adult, student, and family memberships are available at Transforming Physiques Fitness Center and Tanning Salon. The Woodsville Clinic, a division of Wheeling Hospital, opened recently with familiar and friendly faces in the office. Joan and Janie know our area and many of the patients, which is a huge asset to the clinic. Dr. Charles D'Annunzio brings 30 years of healthcare experience and is focused on the needs of a rural practice. The Woodsville Clinic will be expanding to 5 days a week starting September 6th to meet community needs. We are here because you ask us to be. A division of Wheeling Hospital, finding solutions, serving with care.
Students are able to get a very good education, gain some valuable experiences, and they don't have to leave or go far away to do it.
Whatever I wanted to do, I could go down to Athens and everything would transfer down.
So not only is it close to home, it's a decent price. Small classrooms and a friendly atmosphere. It just makes for a great place to start or even go all the way with the whole degree.
Ohio University Eastern. It's a new day.
You'll be pleasantly surprised at the clean and beautiful used furniture and appliances at Bob's, like this Hard Rock Maple Dining Room suite at only $5.99, or this 5-piece kitchen set. Like new and antique bed frames, new bedding, and bedroom suits. Plus recliners, tables, desks, dressers, and lots of other items with inventory constantly changing. Appliances are priced to sell. Washers, dryers, refrigerators, stoves, and this upright freezer at only $319. The price is right at Bob's Used Furniture and Appliances.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's show. During the course of the evening, we will talk to 3 Seminole guests and talk about last week's 6-0 loss to the Barnesville Shamrocks, and also talk about tomorrow night's Parents' Night outing against the Frontier Cougars. Well, Coach, if I would take my stat sheet and showed it to you about noon on Friday, I think you probably will like the script that had been written out for the other night, but unfortunately, the only number that counts isn't on the sheet.
Well, you're exactly right, Jeff. We basically did everything that we wanted to do except get on the scoreboard, and that's, as you say, that's what counts. That's the bottom line. You can play as good as you want offensively and as good as you want defensively, unless you come up on the top end of the score when it's all over with. That's what's the main thing. So, we did exactly what we wanted to do defensively. Coach Sherman again put together a super game plan. We went into that game facing a running back who was averaging 205 yards a game. We shut him down to 60, maybe 70 yards and on 20-some carries, and you can't ask for anything more than that. We didn't give up a big play to them offensively. We just basically did just about everything we wanted to do. We had the 1 turnover. The interception was returned for a touchdown on our second play from scrimmage, and that unfortunately held up. And of course, the thing that plagued us is the same thing that's plagued us all year long, and that's the fact that we had the ball in the red zone at least 5 times and couldn't get it in, once on the 1-yard line. And when you don't take opportunities, advantage of golden opportunities like that, they're definitely going to come back to haunt you. So putting 1 on the board before halftime would have been real big. Who knows what would have happened the second half? But had we played like we continue to play defensively, I think they only got the ball inside the 30-yard line maybe 1 time. And other than that, we did exactly what we wanted to do defensively. I felt that that's maybe our best game to date as far as when you look at the overall aspect, the fact that we moved the ball on offense. We had Buck Wiley had a great game. He went over 100 yards rushing, and we had some other people contribute there on offense. We threw the ball for 90 yards, and that's about as good as we moved the ball offensively and consistently for a full game throughout the course of this year. But we just didn't get the ball in the end zone, and as you say, that's what counts, and that was the difference.
Well, after a game such as that, we've had some other close games during the year. Is there a concern going into a Friday night game this week about the emotions of the players being able to get back up after a tough loss?
Well, I think our young men will be, they'll be bouncing back. They were up, and I think probably maybe as ready to play as they were any game this year. And they know the importance of these last two games. We're on our home field the last 2 weeks and have an opportunity to finish this thing out 5-5. And as I told them, it's not the way we had written the script at the beginning of the year and what we'd hoped our record would be, but that's what the reality of it is right now, and that's what we're faced with, and that's the best we can do. We had our opportunity by winning last week to go over the 500 mark, but now with 2 games left and being at 3-5, that's the best we can finish. And when you take in consideration the things that have happened this year, it's not what you call, by our expectations, not what we're used to record-wise. But as I told our young men, 5-5 is a heck of a lot better than 3 and. We're right now we're 3-5, and 3-7 is not something that we want to look at. So, when you look at the competition we've played too, Jeff, we played some pretty good football teams. When you look at the records, our opponents that we have lost to are 29-11. They've done pretty well. We have 4 teams that are 6-2, one that's 5-3. So, most of the teams that we've faced this year have had good records going in, and they've continued to have good records throughout the course of the season. So, we all know that there's probably at least 3 of those games that we lost we could have won, and we could have been sitting on the other side of the fence at 5-3 instead of 3-5. But like I say, the reality of it is that we're 3-5, and we need to, get after Frontier this week in order to step up in the win column again.
I think looking at that, you talked about the schedule we've played. I think I counted, probably at least 5 or 6 teams in there that's probably going to be playing in the postseason between West Virginia and Ohio. And so that, goes to show how good a teams we have played. Just, in closing this segment here, the JV team this past Monday night had quite an exciting game with Barnesville. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, they did, and the JV team did another nice job, registered another win by defeating Barnesville 29-16. The game kind of went back and forth as a result of showing the tapes to our kids of our game this past Friday. I didn't get an opportunity to see the very first part, but our kids continue to improve on the JV level. And again, the main thing, as I said before, they're gaining valuable game experience against somebody else, and that's good. They allowed 2 big runs from scrimmage. I think one of them was around 93 yards, and the other was around 91 yards. Other than that, they did a pretty nice job defensively shutting them down. They put some points on the board, so that's good experience for those young men. We have 1 game left next week with Frontier, and if we can finish that one out, we've only lost 1 game at the reserve level, and not only they're getting good experience, but they've done a good job.
And that JV game will be on Monday night at Frontier starting at about 5:30. When we come back, we'll have the first of 3 guests right after this.
GAP Wireless is your hometown wireless agent. That's great news for you because now you don't have to drive 30 miles or more if you have a simple problem with your cell phone. Maybe your current plan just isn't right for you and the way you use your phone. Well, GAP Wireless is your one-stop shop for wireless. Stop in to customize your plan, pick up accessories, or check out the latest audio and video streaming camera phone with a radio. GAP Wireless is an Alltel authorized agent.
Green Acres is the place to go. Garden tilling or grass to mow. Showroom spread out so far and wide. Come and see all our four-wheel rides.
Ah, the steels are what you've got to see. Chainsawing or attacking weeds. Lawn Boy and Toro are sold here too. Models for all the work you need to do.
Great advice
Emergencies happen 24 hours a day. When seconds count and options matter, you need access to a facility close to home. An emergency room in a hospital with a direct link to Ohio State University medical specialists. Doctors and nurses there for you 24 hours a day. The emergency services at Barnesville Hospital are ready when seconds count. What option will you choose? Urgent care with limited hours or 24-hour care from an accredited hospital? Barnesville Hospital Emergency Services.
Our first guest this evening is Eddie McConnell. Eddie's number 72. He's a senior, offensive tackle, and middle guard. Earlier this year, Eddie, after the first game of the year, you were forced to move from defensive tackle to middle guard. Is that a difficult change that you had to make?
Yeah, but it wasn't really a big change for me playing middle guard from sophomore and junior year. And senior year, I figured I'd be playing tackle, but Matt issues, injury, had to move back to nose guard again, which didn't really bother me much to play nose guard again this year, but it ain't been too hard so far.
Now, as a person that's on the field for a lot of plays between offense and defense, then do you have a preference of which one you like to play more?
Preferably defense. It's a lot easier for me, but I guess I need to play both ways, so.
Now, here the last couple of weeks, we have seen you line up in the backfield, some at the blocking back position. You know, what goes into the thinking there? What's your job as that blocking back?
Every big guy's on the line, want to get their chance in the backfield. Their goal is really to score. I mean, that's all I really want to do. But I don't mind going out and hitting little guys either. It doesn't bother me too bad to lead out and block and make a hole for somebody.
This week, after a tough loss last week to Barnesville, and Coach and I talked earlier and stuff there, what might you do as a senior here to try to have everybody ready to play tomorrow night?
I don't think it's going to take too much to get everybody pumped back up again after a hard loss like we had last Friday. Outplayed them the whole game pretty much, and then go down full frontier. You can't really give them or take away anything from them. I mean, they played some hard teams this year, and we just ain't played to our top yet. I don't think. Maybe last week, maybe pushed to the top, but I don't think we've played to the top as we can.
Well, Coach, here's a young man. He's been a 3-year starter for you. Tell us about Eddie.
Well, Eddie's a big, strong football player, Jeff, and I've told Eddie many times when he wants to play and goes all out, there's not too many people that can stop him because he's big and he's strong, and the thing I think that Eddie's got going for him that a lot of big guys don't is he's, especially at the high school level, is he's pretty quick. He shows quickness in the way he moves. But, every once in a while he'd get tired, maybe take a little rest play or whatever. But when he wants to go, he can go. And we played him at middle guard before, and he did an outstanding job for us. And we had to move him back there after having him at defensive tackle because of some injuries. And he can play either position, defensive tackle, middle guard, and like I say, when he goes all out, he definitely can get the job done for us. There's no doubt about that. And as you mentioned, we put him in the backfield on several occasions, and right now he hasn't got his hands on the ball, and I know he's itching to do that, and that may happen in the next 2 weeks. You never know. In fact, might have taken a shot at doing that last week, but we didn't have the time there before the half to get that particular package, the Power Eye package with him in the backfield in there because we were running short on time and we didn't have any timeouts. So, you may see him in the backfield and you may see him end up toting the ball a little bit, and hopefully when he does, he can make the best out of it. But Eddie's been around a long time. He's played a lot of football for us, and he's a likable young man, and he's just a good young man to have around. We've enjoyed having him.
I'll tell you, Eddie, if you get a chance to get your hands on the ball and get in the end zone, I promise you it will be in the highlights the following week. All right, thanks for being here.
All right.
When we come back, we'll have our second guest right after this.
A good football team works together, helping each other to do their best. A good insurance agency works together too, showing you the best coverage for you and your family. FW Shoemaker Insurance Agency represents several companies, so you benefit from personally designed coverage for your home, autos, or business. Talk to one of their agents about all your insurance needs, including life insurance and annuities. As they continue to look out for your future, FW Shoemaker Agency is celebrating over 100 years of service. The Seminoles and FW Shoemaker Agency, 2 winning traditions.
When we first opened our doors in 1929, Marietta Memorial Hospital marked the beginning of a commitment to healthcare in our community. From the start, the vision of compassionate care has been the standard for all that we do. Through the years, Marietta Memorial has been a leader in our community with advancements in both patient care and technology. As we celebrate our 75th anniversary, we continue that commitment, working to make a measurable difference in the health of the community where we live and work.
Our next guest this evening is Tyler Knowlton. Tyler wears number 82 and is a senior, tight end, and defensive end. When I say you wear number 82, I guess most of the time you wear number 82, except for last week's game. You had to make a change. What happened? How'd that come about?
Well, it was in the first quarter, and we were on defense, and Coach Sherman had us blitz on, and I blitzed on the inside, and the kid just grabbed a hold of my jersey, and it tore from my armpit to my waistband. And I was like, Coach, what do you want me to do about it? And he said, well, we're going to have to get you another jersey. So I had to trade jerseys with Kyle Joris, number 81, since it was a pretty close number there. It wouldn't be too much discrepancy on who I was, but it seemed like everybody in the press box and all the announcers thought I was Kyle Joris. So.
Yeah, I'm sure Kyle liked that.
Yeah.
This year is your first year as a starter at defensive end. You know, from the beginning of the year to now, how do you rate your progress?
Well, the beginning of the year, I was real nervous. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with defensive end. I mean, there's so many things you've got to worry about. You got to watch counters and bootlegs and reverses, first thing. And you got to be able to help off tackle, and you got to keep the outside contained. You don't want anybody to get outside you. Beginning of the year, I struggled a little bit, but I think I've progressed each week. And at this point, I think I'm playing pretty good, but you can always get better.
What's the first thing at the snap of the ball, the first thing you got to be careful of, and that first step across?
You got to look at the tight end. You got to read from the tight end. You got to look through him into the backfield and watch the backs, because when you watch the backs, they're going to show you where the ball's going. And you just watch them, and then you just take one step and you got to break down and look and make sure nobody's going to trap you, and then you just stay outside and try to make a tackle.
Now, in that offensive position at tight end, of course, in the Seminole program, that's a little bit more of a blocking position for the running game. But you had a chance to make a catch there last Friday night, and kind of talk about that.
Yeah, you don't really get a lot of opportunities at tight end to make catches, but when you do, you just got to go out and try to make the most of them. And last week, we did a little flood play to the end zone there, and I just slipped out in the flats, and I caught the ball, and kid come in and put his helmet in front, and he punched from behind, and the ball kind of popped out there, but I was fortunate the ball went out of bounds and didn't end up costing us, so I was pretty thankful for that.
Well, Coach, here's a young man, Tyler, I'd say he's his second year as an offensive starter, and first year on the defensive side of the ball, but he's been with the program for 4 years, and kind of good to have guys like that around.
Well, Tyler is no doubt an outstanding young man. He's a great character, and he's a real nice young man. He's very pleasant to have around. And last year he earned a position at tight end on the offensive side of the ball, and kept getting better and better. He sustained an injury at the beginning of the year in one of our scrimmages, and kind of had a broken hand, but he came back off of that. It never kept him out. He continued to play and continued to get better, and so we knew that he would be our starting tight end this year, and we were thinking he was going to probably play somewhere on the defensive side of the ball. We weren't just exactly where, but we thought possibly at defensive end, and that's exactly where he's played. And as I mentioned before, the defensive end is it's kind of a fun position to play once you learn what to do there, but you can take yourself out of a play real easy at the defensive end position by taking a few steps too many. But he's learned and picked up on a lot of things. He made some big plays, for us as far as CBL sacks, and he's getting better each week at that defensive end. And as you mentioned, he hasn't caught a lot of balls because, our tight end in our scheme of things blocks first and catches passes second, and doesn't have the opportunity to probably catch a lot of balls. But, he did make a catch last week, and hopefully he can get a couple more catches the next couple of weeks and continue to play good as a defensive end and also as a blocker as far as getting the running game going. And we all know that in order to get the running game going, you have to have people up front to block, and the tight end is a key person. But it is, a joy to have Tyler around, because he is a real nice young man.
Well, appreciate you being here tonight, and continued good luck here in the next 2 weeks. I know it'd be a big goal here if we can get to 5-5 for the season on that then. When we come back, we'll have our final guest of the evening right after this.
Be a winner. Catch a great deal on a new or pre-owned car or truck at Knowlton Ford. Look at the selection in the lot or let them use their locator service to find exactly what you want. Knowlton's have served Monroe County with quality Ford parts and service for 4 generations. And there's still a Home Light dealer offering sales, service, and parts. So why not let Mike help you reach your goal when it comes to your next vehicle? Be a winner. Shop Knowlton Ford. Most financial institutions like to talk about how big and strong they are. At Ohio Valley Community Credit Union, we'll show you just how big. Ohio Valley Community Credit Union. We're as big and strong as all of our member groups. Everyone in Belmont County and everyone in Monroe County. Ohio Valley Community Credit Union.
We're joined now by Kyle Singleton, number 64. Kyle's a junior, plays on the offensive line and defensive line, and also handles the Seminole place kicking. You know, we've seen you different times this year, Kyle, subbing in at all the different positions on the line. You know, do you have a favorite position, offense and defense, or what would it be?
I'd have to say either defensive tackle, because you're always in the play, no matter if it's up the middle or outside, you can always pursue the ball and try your best to make the tackle.
Now, people notice anytime after we kick off, that first down play after a kickoff, you're always in on the defensive line. You know, how's that come about?
Well, Chris has to change his shoe. I mean, I feel that he thinks I'm doing a good job giving him a break, and I think if I wasn't doing the job, then I wouldn't be doing it. But it's a lot of fun. It gives me a chance to get in there and make a tackle and have a chance to play.
Now, on Thursday nights, you know, always went through the same routine as far as working on special teams and also working on extra points and that. Then kind of tell us what that routine of the kicking game is on Thursdays.
Well, when they do kickoff return, I go in and kick off and then go down and kick extra points and eventually move back to kick field goals and then go to each hash mark and kick from there.
When kicking field goal, what's the longest field goal you've ever kicked in practice?
Probably like a 37 to a 40 maybe.
Okay. Now here, a lot of people may not know, but you know, you've been getting some extra practice in game situations with kicking as far as your kickoffs and your place kicking, and you know, had a pretty good game this past Monday against Barnesville. Tell us about that.
Well, my kickoffs are never great. I mean, that's something I have to work on. But place kicking for extra points, I was 3 for 3, and I just try and concentrate and hope to build on my JV experiences to help my varsity experience.
Now, Coach, you know, I guess here during the year, we just haven't seen as much of Kyle as what we really would like to.
Well, that's for sure. You know, if he's in there kicking, you know, you're doing a lot of scoring, and we haven't done that enough of that this year, so we haven't seen him as much as we'd like to. But Kyle, like Eddie, is a big, strong young man, and being a junior, he's still got another year left to play. And you know, this year, as you mentioned, we used him at some different positions, offensive tackle. I guess we could even use him in an offensive guard if need be. Defensively, he can line up at middle guard, defensive tackle, and of course the kicking chores, kicking the extra points. And we mentioned about him playing on the reserve team. We wanted to get him some more time on the offense and defensive side of the ball and gain some more experience, but we also wanted him to go to the reserve game so that he could get some more practice in game situations as far as kicking extra points. As you mentioned, he kicked them through and looked real good this past week, and kind of told me he got a couple little bugs worked out, so he kind of guaranteed me we score, he'd put them through this week. So hopefully that's the case. But as I say, he's a big, strong young man, and as far as moving is concerned, if he can get in the right place at the right time, he's pretty hard to move. Well, appreciate you being here with us tonight, Kyle, and I'll tell you what, hopefully then if everything goes well, we'll see lots of opportunities these next 2 weeks to see, you know, the toe in action. When we come back, we'll look at some highlights from the Barnesville game.
Dr. Jay Seidler and nurse practitioner Carol Shoemaker and the staff of Marietta Healthcare Physicians want to take this opportunity to thank all of their patients for your continued support over the past several years. Dr. Seidler and Carol are thrilled to come home and serve your healthcare needs. We're here for you Monday through Friday and accessible by phone at other times. So if you're already a patient, thank you. If not, Call to make arrangements for transferring your medical records to Marietta Healthcare Physicians. Why buy it and store it when you can just ask Woodsfield True Value for the tools and equipment you need for your next project? Rent that auger, log splitter, 40-foot extension ladder, or pressure washer just in time for fall chores. If you need earth-moving equipment, hand tools, party supplies, lawn and garden tools, or stuff for automotive care, concrete work, plumbing, and so much more, help is just around the corner at Just Ask Rental, Woodsfield True Value.
If you're around others that smoke, you are at risk.
Sitting behind someone who is smoking in a stadium for 3 hours is the same thing as a non-smoker smoking 1 cigarette. Riding in a car with somebody who is smoking with the windows rolled up for 1 hour is the same as a non-smoker smoking 4 cigarettes.
And sitting in the non-smoking section of a restaurant is just like smoking 1.5 cigarettes.
Your choice leaves us no choice.
To learn how to protect yourself and others from secondhand smoke, call Monroe County Tobacco Use Prevention and Control at 472-1677. Would you like to break the tobacco habit? We can help. Call Tammy at the Monroe County Health Department, 472-1677, extension 204.
Friday night's game starts off with nice kickoff coverage led by Tyler Knowlton. Well, ball kicked inside the 10-yard line by Chris Lazier, and they try to return to their bench, and Tyler Knowlton comes up, makes the hit, and gets some help from Mikey Habig and also Chris Richter. Stephen Habig finds his way into the Barnesville backfield. Well, Barnesville's first drive, they're moving the football from deep in their own territory down into our territory, and Stephen Habig does a nice job knifing through on defense, makes a shoestring tackle with Buddy Hines, and that helps slow their drive down and eventually stop it. After the Barnesville touchdown, Zach Rain gives you good field position. Well, Zach's done an excellent job on kick returns, and here he kind of picks his way and does a nice job getting us good field position on the kickoff return. Senior fullback Buck Wiley gets a big gain. Well, here we're going to go off tackle, but the off tackle hole's kind of plugged up, and Buck does an excellent job cutting the ball back upfield, picks up a fine gain. Right here, he'll move back to the inside and lowers his shoulder right there, gets a nice drive, and has an exceptional run there. Torrey Prickett introduces himself to Buddy Hines. Well, here they'll line up in a shotgun. They'll line Buddy Hines up to the right of the quarterback. Then they'll bring him back to the left side and try to throw a screen back. And Torrey Prickett does an excellent job reading this and makes the hit just as the ball gets there and jars it loose. Here we'll see Zach Rang with good yardage. They just run Zach off the left side here on a dive and picks up nice yardage. We get a nice job with our offensive lineman on the left side. We pull and trap and run inside the trap man and pick up nice yardage. We'll see Buck Wiley here with good second effort. Well, this is the kind of effort Buck put forth all night long, Jeff, and it goes off the right side on a power. And it's not a big game, but it's a heck of an effort on his part. He's got his feet moving. He's dragging 3 or 4 guys with him. Super effort on Buck's part. Here we see Matt Ishii force a fumble, recovered by Cole Lewis. Linebacker Matt Ishii, number 53, does a nice job here on the blitz, and he'll come through and get his hand around the ball carrier's waist. About the time he's getting the ball bounces around, and number 7, Cole Lewis, jumps in there and gets on it for the fumble recovery. Here we see Dexter Hughes finding Chris Lazier for completion. They'll throw a play-action pass here, Jeff, and we've got a wing to the left, and Chris will be lined up at the tight end there, number 85 to the left, and he'll come underneath on the underneath route, and Dexter throws the ball to him, makes a nice catch, and then turns it upfield. Hughes finds Tyler Knowlton for a short gain. You're here to run a delay out of the shotgun to the tight end, Tyler Knowlton, and Dexter will dump the ball off to him on the right side, and they come up and draw the ball loose. We actually lost a couple yards as a result of the ball going backwards. Tyler Knowlton records a quarterback sack. Here they try to throw the football downfield, and there's nobody to throw to, and Shoemaker tries to come out of the pocket. Number 81, Tyler Knowlton, does a nice job coming in, making the sack. Here we see Dexter Hughes connect with Nick Billman. Lined up in a shotgun formation with 4 wides here. Nick will be spilled out to the left, and we'll run a slant over the middle with Nick, and Dexter does a nice job finding him, throws a nice strike into him, and we get the ball deep in their territory. Now in the third quarter, Dexter Hughes teams up with Torrey Prickett.
We've been running the inside-outside belly here off the wishbone or the belly series. We run the two-phase inside, outside, and then throw the ball. Nicely thrown ball. Nice catch here by Torrey Prickett. Nice pickup.
Tyler Knowlton records a CBL.
Nice defensive play here by Tyler Knowlton, defensive end on this side. They'll try to go outside. They actually get a hold call here, but he does a nice job of playing off two blockers and makes the tackle.
Stephen Habig will record a sack in this Barnesville possession.
Right here, 4th and long. They got twins at the top of your screen. Now the shotgun formation. Shoemaker will roll to the right. Can't find anybody to throw the ball to. Tries to turn the corner, but Stephen Habig reaches out and makes a nice defensive play.
Deep in your own territory, Zach Rain gives you some operating room.
Zach runs off the right side on the outside belly here. Does a nice job of turning the corner and picking up a first down. Here you go, lunge forward and get the first down right at the end.
Out of the shotgun formation, Buck Wiley crosses the people up and makes a nice gain.
He's thrown out of this formation several times. Here we run the trap off the left side. Matt Ishio-Poole get a nice trap here. And Buck will turn it upfield and make a nice run for a big game.
Here you resort to the old flea flicker with Hughes teaming up with Prickett for a big game.
A play we worked on, put in this past week for Barnesville. We'll pitch the ball to Zach Rain. He'll come to his left, hand off to Nick Billman. He'll throw the ball back to Dexter Hughes, and then he'll throw the ball to Torrey Prickett and makes a nice catch here. He gets deep in their territory.
Well, here's your last real shot to the end zone, Coach, and Nick Billman almost pulls it out.
Well, I couldn't see this, Jeff, as it developed during the game because it was clear across the field in the other corner of the end zone. But Dexter throws the ball to Nick. He's actually undercut from the front by Buddy Hines, and I thought the guy from behind was over top. Two officials right there on the play, and no call. Now watch that again in slow motion, and you'll see Buddy Hines come up, turn around, and have his back to the line of scrimmage, and just totally undercut Nick from the front, actually before the ball's in his hands.
And now it's time to see what will be this week's Citizens National Bank Play of the Week.
High backfield. Pitch. Here comes the reverse. Flea flicker. Wide is down the middle of the field. Prickett, first down. Easy catch. Inside the 25 to about the 23. Beautifully executed play by the Seminoles.
The Citizens National Bank of Woodsfield, home-owned and independently operated since 1933. Your community bank. Our officers, directors, and staff are dedicated to customer and community service. We reinvest your deposit dollars locally. So remember, banking with us is not only good for you, but it's good for your community. Citizens National Bank of Woodsfield, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Bill Respect. 3/4 of a century ago, Grandma Respect made a commitment to give customers the best quality available at the best possible price. I'm happy to continue that commitment as I introduce you to Respect's new store brand, Our Family. It's as good as the national brands at a price that's even better. Well, I feel so good about Our Family brand. If you're not satisfied, we'll give you double your money back. Isn't it time your family had dinner with Our Family?
Monroe Family Health Center is and always has been a part of your community.
For almost 30 years, Monroe Family Health Center has been providing excellence in comprehensive health care in Monroe County. We invite you to visit us and take advantage of our lab, x-ray, immunization, medication assistance, and other services available in Woodsfield. All insurances, including Medicaid, are accepted with a sliding fee scale based on income and family size.
4 doctors and a nurse practitioner are ready to serve you and your family.
For over 100 years, Bauer Turner Furniture has been serving our community with quality furniture and bedding. After a big day, kick back and relax in a dual recliner sofa, or choose from living room suites featuring couches with comfy armchairs or matching recliners. Then pick the perfect coffee table and tables and lamp to suit your personality. Of course, they stock bedroom furniture to please the country, traditional, or contemporary decorator. Kitchen tables and chairs, hutches, entertainment centers, and more can be delivered to your home this week. So stop by Bauer Turner Furniture today.
this week's opponent will be the Frontier Cougars. And Coach, looking at their scores, they're kind of a hard team to figure out when you look at their record, but yet you look at their one win of the year, it was against River, so it's kind of hard to know exactly what Frontier team you're going to get.
Well, that's true, Jeff, and they only have a 1-7 record, and in some ways that could be a little misleading when you take a look at number one. They've scored some points. They have not been shut out this year, and they've played some pretty good football teams, some of the same teams that we played. They seem to bounce back. If their opponent scores, they seem to come right back and score to answer that. So they haven't gone away easy. And their big game this year was maybe one of the biggest upsets in the Valley, and that was when they defeated River in game number 4, 36-35. They had an outstanding performance. But they opened the season with a 41-6 loss to Shenandoah, who, as we know, we played Shenandoah's 3-5. They lost by 1 point, a real close ball game, to a 5-3 Waterford team, 21-20. The next week they lost to Buckeye Trail, who's 4-4, 46-20. And then the following week is the week they defeated River, who is 6-2, 36-35. And then after the River game, they lost to Barnesville, who's 5-3, 40-14. And then they lost to Fort Fry, who's 1-7, 21-18. And then the past 2 weeks, they've scored 8 points each week, losing to Caldwell, who's 5-3, 28-8. And Shadyside this past week, who's 6-2, 48-8. But that game against Shadyside was actually 8-8 at the end of the half. And Shadyside had to score right at the end of the half to tie that game up. So, they have scored some points, 130, averaging 16.2, but they've given up a lot of points to date. They've given up 280 points, an average of 35 points a game. So their defense has given a lot of points up. The offenses look good at times. Rushing-wise, they've rushed for 1,538 yards, an average of 219 yards per game, which is not too bad rushing-wise. Passing-wise, they've completed 126 passes for 533 yards, for a 75-yard per game average. So, we're going to have to do something offensively in order to keep their offense off the field and get some points on the board. And we can't do what we did last week, get down the red zone and not put it in. We got to get there and we got to get in the end zone.
Well, the Frontier Cougars, most people know, last year they had, one of the best years, if not the best year in their school history, and they had a lot of seniors on that team. So their key offensive personnel are a lot of first-year players. But as you mentioned, their running is what they like to do. They'll run.
Yes, and they have a good runner in a guy that they'll put at fullback, a guy that they'll put at tailback, but they find a way to get him the ball, and that's Johnny Sawyer. He's an excellent runner. As I say, he'll line up at several different positions, and to date he has 757 yards on 159 carries, averaging 136 yards a game. So we're coming up against another good runner, as we did last week, in Buddy Hines, and he's also caught 12 balls for 160 yards on the receiving end of it. But he's got some beef up front that allows him to do that running and allows him to establish that running game of averaging 219 yards a game. They're very big up front, and those guys that line up front are Andy Davis, center, 5'11", 245, a senior, number 72. Offensive guard, number 76, Jamie Tilton, 6 foot, 205, sophomore. And the other offensive guard is Cody Williams, a junior, 6'1", 245, number 56. At the tackles, they alternate. At the one tackle, they alternate number 70, Zach Hartline, who's a senior, 6 foot, 235. And the other senior that they alternate there is Justin Tidd, 6'2", 290, number 78. And at the other tackle is another big boy. He tops them all, and that's Ben Alden. He's a senior, 6'4", 340, number 77. And their tight end is no little guy. Cody Heine, a senior, 6'1", 235. He has 6 catches, 74 yards. So they got a lot of beef up front, and that's what allows them to run the football. At their split end is Ben Turner, a young man, it's a junior, has 10 catches, 162 yards, number 80, 5'8", 145. And their flanker, number 9, senior David Bernoni, he has 17 catches, 174 yards. He's 5'10", 150. And some of the other guys you'll see in the backfield will be number 12, Tyler Harris, 5'10", 155, sophomore. and also Brennan Lamp, their quarterback, number 24. He's 6'1", 165. He has 165 yards on 22 carries, and he's passed for 533 yards. He has 10 interceptions. And you'll see Bernoni line up at the wingman. They like to run him on the counter back inside, and they do a real good job of that. That seems like every time they run that play, it's a positive play for them. So that's the way they line up offensively, 5 seniors, 4 juniors, and 2 sophomores. As you mentioned, Jeff, they had a lot of seniors last year, and they had an outstanding undefeated season last year, and those guys have played for them for like 4 years, so a lot of those guys are gone, but these guys have stepped up, and there's the guys that are going with this year.
Well, you mentioned Sawyers. I believe that game against River, he scored all 36 points for Frontier, had 5 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions, so he was about a one-man wrecking crew against them.
Yeah, like I say, he's about 185, and he runs hard, and they'll throw the ball to him, so we're definitely going to have to try to contain him.
So hopefully now, you talk about their problems defensively, that would be good news for our offense, but I still see that they've got some pretty good size along that front wall.
They do, and a lot of the guys that play on the offensive side of the ball, Tilton, he's up front as a down man. Williams, he's one of their defensive ends. Ethan Morris, another defensive end, number 89, 6 foot 220. At the inside linebackers is number 32, Sawyer, and also Cody Heine. And at the outside linebackers, Tyler Harris, a sophomore, and Brendan Lamp, their quarterback. And in the secondary, Bernoni, Adelsberger, a junior, and Ben Turner at the corner. They're a little younger on the defensive side of the ball than they are on the offensive side of the ball. Then you start 2 seniors, 5 juniors, and 4 sophomores. So they got a lot of beef up front, and we'll have to, like I say, we'll have to try to find a way to move the ball and find a way to get in the end zone if we're going to be successful.
Well, so it's the kind of team that, hopefully, going in, we can have some confidence against, and then hopefully, everybody will be up and we'll be ready to play this week.
Well, I hope so. And, I told our young men, Jeff, that, if we approach this game as we approached last week's game and play the way we did last week defensively, we should be fine. But if we go into this game thinking that we're not facing a guy like Buddy Hines and that things are going to be easy, then we're going to have problems. So, we're just going to have to try to, play with the same mindset and the same focus and intensity as we did last week.
Well, we talked before about, wanting to be 5-5 at the end of the year. Well, you can't be 5-5 until you're 4-5 first. So that will be the main goal tomorrow night on Parents' Night, here at Monroe Memorial Park against the Frontier Cougars. We'll be right back.
You'll be pleasantly surprised at the clean and beautiful used furniture and appliances at Bob's, like this Hard Rock Maple Dining Room suite at only $5.99, or this 5-piece kitchen set. Like new and antique bed frames, new bedding, and bedroom suites. Plus recliners, tables, desks, dressers, and lots of other items with inventory constantly changing. Appliances are priced to sell. Washers, dryers, refrigerators, stoves, and this upright freezer at only $319. The price is right at Bob's Used Furniture and Appliances.
Celebrate 44 years with Doan Ford and experience the difference of having the largest Ford inventory in the area, state-of-the-art showroom, state-of-the-art collision center, award-winning service department, a staff that treats you like family, and the Ohio Valley's premier Ford dealership. Doan Ford has been here for 44 years and is ready to serve the community for 44 more. Find out why everyone is saying, "I'm not buying till I check Doan Ford."
McDonald's of Woodsfield is not just great food and lots of fun, it's a vital part of our community. Perla and Dell believe in supporting our kids. That's why McDonald's is proud to be the exclusive halftime sponsor for the Monroe Central Seminoles. And proud to offer 24-hour drive-thru service. McDonald's food whenever you're hungry.
This is the receiver of the Woodsfield Redskins, and I'm loving it.
Stop by and try McDonald's latest chicken premium sandwiches.
We're loving it.
So before or after the big game, celebrate at McDonald's. Since 1887, folks have trusted Woodsfield Savings Bank with their financial needs. So when you need someone to lead you with your financial decisions, come to the friendly folks at Woodsfield Savings Bank where customers count. Because of your busy schedule, we offer a drive-through and night deposit box, as well as convenient parking, direct deposit, and automatic payments. The folks at Woodsfield Savings Bank truly believe that making an investment in our kids brings the biggest return to our community.
As I mentioned earlier, tomorrow night's home game is Parents' Night, and those activities will start at approximately 6:45. So come on out early for those activities. All players, managers, and cheerleaders and their parents will be introduced. Pre-sale tickets for the game will be available tomorrow at the Marathon station. Since there's no school, there will be no tickets available at the schools. So stop at the Marathon station if you have not already purchased your pre-sale ticket. In advance, students and senior citizens are $3, adults are $4, and all tickets at the game will cost $5. Sideline or board winners this week. We have just a single winner, and that individual is Bud Klein. He hits all 4 quarters. No radio this week, changing the schedule by the WBNV crew, so there will be no live radio. And then join me on Saturday morning, and we'll bring you the game replay as usual. As we mentioned earlier, JV game Monday at Frontier. That will start at 5:30. That will be the final JV game of the season. And as usual, before the game, there will be sausage sandwiches, 50-50 tickets, along with game ball tickets, and also some prizes with your program. So be sure to get a program and listen for those numbers, because I think last week there were some prizes that went unclaimed. And Coach, you had a couple activities you wanted to mention, especially that Seminole Supper.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody the Super Seminole Supper is coming up Sunday at Swiss Hills Monroe Central Cafeteria area, where our players will be the waiters, and the football moms will prepare the dinner, and they'll have, again, some entertainment. They'll have a country store. It's got a nice afternoon, or way to spend an afternoon and get a nice meal. And but the one thing I want to emphasize is there'll be only pre-sale tickets to that. There will not be any walk-ups, or you will not be able to just go up and get in at the door. You'll have to have your tickets in advance. So if you're not purchased those tickets, you need to get in touch with one of the football moms as soon as possible and get one of those tickets, because it will be a good time. And also I want to remind everybody about the 200 Club. We're gradually getting the 200 Club filled up, but we need to get everybody that was in last year back in, and we need new members. So again, it's $50. You have an opportunity to win. We have 2 winners every week. And if you join up now and you haven't been in before, you get to take the benefit, or have the benefit of going to this year's party and also next year's party, and take a guest with you. So if you're haven't been in before, please join up. And if you've been in before, get your money in so that you're in for that early bird drawing on a new color TV.
That's quite a bit of activities there. I think we covered about everything we need to talk about. And again, next week, week 10 of the season, we'll find the Seminoles at home once again. And that opponent will be the Tyler Consolidated Knights. Next week, when Coach and I are here at the same time on Thursday night, it'll be a full house, as we'll bring all the seniors in and have one last chance to visit with them. So be sure to be with us for that. And I think that's going to pretty well do it for tonight. And the Seminole team, hoping to finish the season 5-5, and step 1 will be the Frontier Cougars tomorrow night. And with no live radio, come on out and see the game and support this team. And then join me on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. for the game replay. And that'll do it for tonight. Hope to see you at the game. Good night.